Life. Hello. The thing is, I ये मैंने अल्लाह की तारीफ मेरे दिल में निकलती है, बहुत ज्यादा तारीफ, हमदो सना। अब वो खुदा जिसको के सारी कायनात, सारी दुनिया को वो जुल्म में देख रहा है, बहते हुए खून है, जिंदगी जानवरों की शक्ल में या इंसानों की शक्ल में, वबा है, कोविड वो भेजता है खुदा, तो वो जो है मजलूम लोग ही उसका निशाना बनते हैं। तो दो जानवर जो हैं वो बेहतरीन जानवर हैं अल्लाह के नजदीक, जो अल्लाह की नुमाइंदगी करते हैं वो बेहतरीन जानवर हैं। वो एक तो बंदर है और एक गधा है। तो मैंने 2 किताबें मुसलमानों के लिए, माशाल्लाह, मुसलमान या हिंदू या ईसाई या कोई भी बुद्ध मजहब मेरे लिए एक ही है, तो 2 किताबें मैंने लिखी। एक तो न्यू स्टालिनिज्म लिखा, ये 500 सफ़े की किताब है, मेरी तस्वीर है, और दूसरी मैंने बड़ी वजाहत के साथ कुरान द बिगेस्ट लाई ये लिखी है। ये भी 250 सफ़े की किताब है। मगर दुनिया इस्लाम वाले, इनके मुल्कों में तो कोई जरा नबी की जरा तौहीन कर दे तो ये कत्ल कर देते हैं। तो ये सारी दुनिया इस्लाम खामोश है। मैंने 500 सफ़े की किताब कुरान के खिलाफ लिखी, एक एक बात उसमें, एक एक आयत को टारगेट किया है। तो बाहर सूरत मुझे नहीं पता, ये मेरी लास्ट है। गाली तो मेरे लिए कोई बुरी चीज नहीं है, ये भी हमद है खुदा की। तो अल्लाह ताला की मैं अक्सर हमदो सना करता हूँ जब मैं गाना गाता हूँ, कुकिंग करते वक्त या बर्तन धो रहा होता तो गुनगुना रहा होता हूँ अल्लाह की हमद सना में कि हम तो देख नहीं सकते दुनिया का जुल्म, हमारा सीना तो ये नहीं है, लेकिन अल्लाह का कितना बड़ा सीना है, कितना बड़ा दिल है कि तमाम कायनात में अरब अनगिनत जाने ज़ाया तलफ होती हैं, तकलीफ है, नाइंसाफी है, तो वो बड़े देखता है खुशी से। तो मैं उसकी हमद में फिर शेर पढ़ता हूँ। और बंदर कहते हैं, बंदर पंजाबी च बांदरा कहते बंदर नू, मोंकी। तो मैं गाया करता हूँ अक्सर, बांदरा बांदरा ओए बांदरा तेरी मां दी लन ओए बांदरा। ये मैं अल्लाह को कह रहा हूँ, बांदरा 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 ओ तेरी मां दी लन ओए बांदरा। तो ये बाहर सुत ये मैं शेर पढ़ता हूँ, और ये सारी दुनिया इस्लाम को और क्रिश्चियंस को वो मैसेज है। तो आप ये जो है ना मैसेज, तो इसमें देखें। अब वो लोग कहते हैं जी हमें तो खुदा नजर आता है, क्रिएटर है, सूरज को बनाया है, उसको बनाया है, भाई वो क्रिएटर है। अच्छा भाई, मैं तो जब देखता हूं तो मुझे खुदा की जगह एक बहुत बड़ा गधा नजर आता है। ये जो मैंने चैप्टर अपने जो दोनों किताबें हैं उसमें मैंने लिखा है, एक तो न्यू स्टालिनिज्म और एक कुरान द बिगेस्ट लाई। ये सारी दुनिया इस्लाम खामोश क्यों है, चुप क्यों है, ये हिंदू भी चुप क्यों है, ईसाई क्यों चुप है, बाइबल की मुखालफत की है। तो मुझे ये बताएं सारे, आए, चैलेंज मैदान में है, चैलेंज है, आओ, जिंदा हूं तो चैलेंज कर रहा हूं सारी दुनिया, इनको सर निगुम कर दूंगा। आने वाली नस्लों को तबाह कर दिया, आने वाली नस्लें जो हैं उनके ब्रेन को, उनके दिमाग को मफलूज कर दिया, बंद है अनरीजनेबलनेस, और उसमें ये रिजिडिटी, बिगिट्री, वो इतने हट धर्म हैं कि अपने मुफाद के अलावा उनको कुछ नजर ही नहीं आता, चाहे वो छोटे से खाने का मुफाद हो, कौम को पूरे मुल्क को बेच देते हैं। इस तरह के ये लोग हैं, मजहबी लोग। जरा मैं ये चैप्टर में इंग्लिश का जो टाइटल है ये मैंने पढ़ना है, तो ये आप देख लें। और इसका जवाब सारी दुनिया इस्लाम और मैं दुनिया इस्लाम को ना, बाइबल बहुत बड़े क्रिमिनल्स हैं, इन्होंने क्राइम की बुनियाद रखी है जो इस्लामिक सूरत में सामने आया है। इसी तरह ये गीता के मानने वाले, रामायण के मानने वाले जाहले मुतलिक हैं। राम चंद्र हो या ईसा हो या मूसा हो या मोहम्मद हो, एक ही किस्म के क्लाउन्स हैं, जाहले मुतलिक हैं। तो ये एक चैप्टर मैंने न्यू स्टैलिनिज्म में भी उसको दिया है, और कुरान द बिगेस्ट लाई में भी मैंने इसका जिक्र किया है। तो ये देखिए ना, ये है चैप्टर। तो इसमें ये मैंने लिखा है कि डोंकी इज द रियल किंग ऑफ द यूनिवर्स, गॉड इज द रियल किंग और द डोंकी, दिस इज द क्वेश्चन। इनको खुदा नजर आता है, मुझे एक बहुत बड़ा गधा बैठा हुआ आसमानों पे नजर आता है। अब ये उसकी दलीलें मैं देता हूं, तो उसका मुझे आप ये सारे जवाब दें कि खुदा है, खुदा ने इस कायनात को बनाया, या कि एक गधे ने बनाया। ये बहुत बड़ा बड़ा अहम क्वेश्चन है। तो गॉड इज द रियल किंग और द डोंकी, Para 3, Surah 3, verse 26. God is the real king. He may award kingdoms to anyone and may snatch if he wish to do so. God gives honor when he wished and gives disgrace whenever he willed. So this is the verses of the Quran. So I want to change my glasses. So 1 minute, please. God gives honor when he wished and gives disgrace whenever he willed. Para number 3, Quran ka Surah 2, verse 259. See the donkey, how we God joined its bones and when dressed it with flesh. Para 21, Surah 31, verse 19. Be modest in thy bearing and subdue thy voice. Lo, the worst of all voices is the voice of an ass. It is beyond the dignity. No, it is my version, my reading of the book. It is beyond the dignity of a creator to give humiliation to his own creation, which means God has not created the donkey. God gave a disgrace to the ass by saying that the worst of all voices is the voice of an ass. But the facts are quite different. The reality is otherwise. What God has uttered in his verses of the Quran is all wrong with this figuration of the facts of life. In truth, God has all the ill will impregnated with malice against the donkey. God is jealous of donkey because donkey is the only animal who claims that he is the real king instead of God. Donkey is the creature who challenges God as well as mankind on an equal basis. Donkey stands as a competitor in some of the fields ruled by the God. God is angry to the donkey and thus said that, lo, that worst of all voices is the voice of donkey. Donkey makes the faces as a challenge to God and raises his voice to tease God that he himself is the best in this world. The voice of the donkey is a trumpet, a challenge against God's omnipotence. God claims his rights to rule the universe as a king. In his kingdom, nobody dares to challenge him because he asserts on the basis of some factual and material evidence as pleaded by him in the following arguments. Donkey claims that God is jealous of him. The real cause of jealousy is that God claims that his existence can be felt in the ears, while donkey rebuts and says the donkey's existence can be smelled and felt all around in all the follies of the nature, and God is a liar. God blackmailed the human psychology of worship by alienating himself. God is only revered because he is sitting above in the skies, hiding his ugly face behind the seven blue curtains of depth vistas. If he, the God, would have come and lived among the people, he would have got the worst treatment, even worse than a donkey. In the Bible, my story, the donkey's story, is narrated, but my services were not acknowledged due to God's malice and ill will against me. Samson, Samson was all miserable and wretched while bound by the Palestine armies. I helped them through my jawbone. Their donkey is saying it was in the hands of Samson, the jawbone of an ass. I came into the hands of Samson as the jawbone of a donkey, and with all the forces of lightning and hurricanes, I destroyed the whole enemy army, which was thousands in number. This is the true importance of me as donkey, for which the Bible is silent. What Rousseau said about God, with my hands pressed tight over my eyes or in the darkness of the night, I am of the opinion that there is no God. But look yonder, the rising of the sun as it scatters the mists that cover the earth and lay bare the wondrous glittering scene of nature, disperses at the same moment all clouds from my soul. I find my faith again and my God and my belief in Him. I admire and adore him, and I prostrate myself in his presence. I believe in God as strongly as I believe any other truth, because believing and not believing are the last things in the world that depend on me. Rousseau advocated in favor of belief in God, but he was not able to prove in any way that God is the creator of the universe. He just praised the natural phenomena and then prostrated himself by presuming the existence of God, just opposing Rousseau on his opposite side. Donkey argues that his presence as the donkey is visible and can be felt and sensed in all our acts as well as in the laws of cosmos at large. Though Donkey has no such claim that he is the creator of this universe, but if the universe is created by someone, then surely he was having nothing more than the donkey's wit. In nature, in comparison to God, we feel that donkey is the better and bigger reality than God by himself. There is a bitter contest between God and the donkey as a claimant to be the king of the universe. Where God is where God is consistently telling lies while the donkey is very true on the face of facts. God claims that he is the creator of everything in the universe while he has got no proof of any of his acts of creation. God's statement given in his holy books, where his writings are negated by the scientific discoveries, whereas Donkey has no such claim that he has created the world. What Donkey says that he rules the universe through its laws and ultimate destiny given to it. He, his face at donkey can be seen everywhere in each mirror. Claims of God are all false, whereas donkey's narrations are true and based on factual realities. Donkey is the real king of the universe who rules the behavior of each and every object. Even the donkey is reflected in the fallacious acts of God by himself. In the above said verses of the Quran, God is becoming impertinent to an ass by giving him humiliation. Donkey claims that his voice is in fact better than the voice of God in the Quran and the Bible, and the God is discriminatory while the donkey is not. God hates donkey, non Muslims, and idolaters, while donkey loves all and reside in the minds of everyone. There are two kinds of feelings. Those are of love and hatred. God is full of hatred. Even he hated the donkey through his contempt of donkey's voice. But the donkey has a third kind of emotion while addressing to God. Donkey's emotion about God are that you, God, even do not deserve to be hated. Hate is also a kind of love where you have embarked your ideas about your opponent to hate. where you think maliciously about your enemy. Thus, you, God, even have got no place in the donkey's mind. God, you even do not deserve to be hated, because your messages derail the human race to the highest degree of perversity. You are the lawyer of the highest degree. Your level such a low that even you don't deserve our hatred. What to talk about love? Donkey claims that he is better than a man in respect of the qualities of wisdom, worth, patience, peace, hard work, forbearance, strength, dedication, construction, love, and sex. God is trying to mutilate the facts. Mankind only stands for cruelty, injustice, ignorance, and bloodshed. I, as donkey, am also the initiator of strategic politics, which normally common man cannot understand. I always entangle the people in complicated and fabricated, delayed procedures. I don't like to examine the truths on the face of the facts. If somebody asks me to look, the sun is there, all bright and clearly visible. I don't want to believe the direct evidence. Rather, I say him, bring witnesses and give me in writing that the sun is all bright. I don't like to use my own brain. I always like fabrications. A man in person is not important for me. I only validate his identification card, and even it might be a fake one. I always work oddly and move in a complicated zigzag pattern of actions. For example, if someone wanted to throw me in the deep pit or a well, he may keep me pushing towards my fall, but he cannot be successful to achieve his malicious desire. On the contrary, the people who are with friendly emotions, they prove to be fatal for me. All those innocent people who at the same time are merciful too, those who instead of pushing, they pull me towards their own direction to save me from the agony or disaster. I automatically act adversely by moving in the opposite direction, which causes me to fall in the pit. Once it is said to someone that a thief has taken your ear, come on, chase him, get hold of him, and take your ear back. He, as my good disciple, at the first instance ran behind the thief without checking his ear whether it is in its place or not. I rule the economic world also. Once somebody asked me that he needed my shit without any hesitation. I at once said to him very clearly that I have my toilets on the top of the hill, and my shit is very precious and expensive commodity. I outmatched God everywhere, but at two places God has beaten me and surpassed me in meanness, as he himself declared in his holy books. One occasion was when he, the God, impregnated Mary without her consent. It amounted to rape. And the other when he said that your wives will be raped by others. That is in the Bible. If you don't obey the Lord thy God, then your wives will be raped. This is the version of the Bible, Old Testament. Para 16, Surat 19, verse 19. He said, I have been sent by God to you so that I might impregnate you and give you a son. Verse 20. She said, how can I have a son while no man had ever touched me? Neither I have been unchaste. Verse 21. The angel said, it will be done because God has commanded me to do so, and it is very easy for me. Verse 22. And she, Mary, was conceived by that angel. Verse 23. And the pangs of the childbirth drove her unto the trunk of the palm tree. She said, oh, I desired that I should have died, and would have become a forgotten story of the past folk. They said, oh, Mary, you have done a very bad thing. The Bible, Deuteronomy 28:15. If you do not obey the Lord your God, 20, may the Lord send you the starvation, burning thirst, and dysentery. 24, Your Lord may turn the rain upon your country into fine sand. 30. Your wives will be raped by others. In some respects, I, as a donkey, am superior to God, even in the matters of sex. God is docile and passive. He sends others to perform the sexual acts of rape, while the sacred duty of sexual acts I perform by myself as a donkey, because I am the king of sex. I am top and God is the bottom. I, as the king of the universe, tried to make the people of the world realize the very meaning of freedom with their choices in order to make them responsible for their acts of good and evil by knitting a web of sin against them. Please don't mind the obscenity attached with the word rape, because even God was not shy to use that word in his holy books. However, I have exposed God by giving a message to the whole of the humanity that for God, what are the meanings of freedom? If you are in a standing posture, your wives will be raped by the men sent by God. And if you are in a bending position, then it is very easy for believers of God to commit adultery with you. If you sit, then your daughters will be raped by the Holy Ghost. For them, it is quite easy because they will be sent by the command of God, and your daughters will also be impregnated like wailing Mary. Now the choices are with you. You are free to select any one among these given options completely. That is your freedom. But it is better for you to lie down with the bums upside and face downward. That is the best choice for you. That is what your Lord God likes for you, as He would feel for you that you are slaves to Him. This is your freedom of choices of good and evil. Your God is all graceful and merciful, who rewards you with the opportunity to be free with the freedom of choices as you're responsible for your own acts. You're sinful creatures by your very fabric, and your God knows what you know not, because he is all wise and knowledgeable. This is the real concept of freedom near God Almighty. Now as a donkey I run parallel to God as a contestant for the kingdom of the universe. I also extend my theory of freedom for the kind parallel of thinkers which might be more appealing than God's idea about freedom. For me, as donkeys, freedom means that all of us, each individual in this world, are imprisoned in unseen cages, and in those cages, we are watching movies with the changing scenes in it. We don't know which scene will be the next in its sequence. We are bound to watch, and absolutely, we have no control on the movie camera. When we open our eyes from our dream, everybody is crying and weeping around us that he is dead. This is the only freedom, the gift which nature has awarded to us. In this world, especially for humans, I, the universal donkey, have made a complicated game named the game of maze. I throw the men of my wit in the situations where all the ways adopted by them end in a blind alley. They struggle, they spend their lives to achieve their greedy targets, but to the highest degree of tragedy in their disappointment that everything ends into futility and nothingness. In this way, generations are consumed and a lot of energy is sapped. This is the reward for their ill will with bad intentions. Biggest maze knitted by me as great donkey, that the populations under the impact of greed and desire dedicate their lives for the search of non-existent God. They worship day and night and spend a lot of money in churches, temples, and mosques by running behind the non-existent shadow, which is only to achieve their selfish desires of immortality in paradise, where they believe that rivers of wine and women to rape will be greeting them. All these luxuries will be provided to them through their pimp card. In the end, they would realize that were only daydreaming and fantasies of the fools, but of no use. Time would have been past now, Another donkey will be on their heads to perish them forever by atomic explosion. All of them would die due to their internal hatred created by the wish to rule and conquer through wars. All the maze games constructed by me, the donkey, where the things end in a blind alley. However, it is my claim as a donkey that if Socrates can teach a lesson by examples, then why not I can teach wisdom through committing follies? I intentionally commit follies to demarcate these from the wisdom. So all the wisdom is taught by me with its contradictions. I, as donkey, am a greater philosopher, even greater than Socrates. Only the way of teaching is different. It is the claim of God that His presence can be seen and felt everywhere in the universe. That is the reason, according to Islam, He, the God, has 99 names, which are in fact attributed of different qualities of life in nature. For example, that God said that out of His 99 names, one is Jabbar, means who is capable to do the things with force. He is the Rahim, means he is merciful, so and so forth. 99 names of God, all borrowed ones, but I, as donkey, represent work or labor. My one name is work, labor, or donkey, and the other name is impregnation. There is a journey from appearance to reality. It is only the force of work which tears the covering of impregnation. In the entire universe, I, as donkey, have impregnated every object, which is the reason that the things appear to be what they are not. I shed a light in waves which makes the difference of appearance with realities. Sun is a very big planet. It gives the appearance of a football. Moon is also big, but for the Quran, it is a shriveled palm tree twig. So are the stars and the sky. Even the every beaut, even the very beautiful girl is very cunning inside. Earth is rounded, but it looks flat. Fraudulent people give sublime and kind looks. Snakes are beautifully colored. Saints Scenes of earth unmatched in glamour but awful in action. This is dichotomy in nature of the objects is given by me, the donkey king of the universe, named as impregnation. Even God by himself was betrayed by the appearances which were given by me. That is the reason that God thinks that sun was setting in a muddy pool of water, and the earth is like floor, sky is ceiling, stars pasted on the skies, which will fall on the earth as the fig falls from the fig tree. I claim that I am the biggest philosopher too, because I am saintly and always remain under the impact of deep thinking, meditation, and spiritualism. I'm, I'm paradoxical by nature because in nature two opposing forces make spindle, whereas in between the two wings, spiritual waves of minutely delicate feelings have their flow. Consistent labor uncovers the superficial layers and finally penetrates deep down to the realities of nature. God is a utopia and I am a reality. My number is 5040, which can be divided by each number from 1 to 10 as well as 12. All the frequencies of all the bodies of the universe pass through my body. It is not me only, but as an embodiment of simplicity, truth, labor, patience, and saintly behavior, all combined together, I rule the spirit of the world. I am in harmony to all the forces of nature with common resonance to their frequencies. I am the king of the universe, not the fake, betraying a false God. God wrongly said that the worst is the voice of donkey. All the truths are bitter. So is my voice under the hearing of the false God. All the sciences are the dictates of nature, are my lessons because I am a thinking saint. Again, the major difference between God and me as donkey is that God is dictatorial and I am a democrat. God lives with rich and exploiters, while I live with poverty-stricken laborers in their mud huts with the similar wisdom. God hates everyone, but I hate none. God is a diplomat while I'm simple, but for the astonishment of everyone, that in simplicity and in truth lies all the grandeur and force of nature. That why that I, as donkey, have been crowned as the universal king, while God stands as a defeated creature in the lane of his superficial style of fraudulent egotism. God, who has made thousands of police stations, the churches, mosques, temples in order to defend himself, where he greedily, with force, coerces and allows the people to follow him, whereas myself I am saintly and silent, but people voluntarily follow me because I live in their brains and in their make. I am acceptable to them with all my wit. Only the wise are my enemies, but they are the enemies of God too. The claimed wise men often enter into my territory and become subject to my authority and sovereignty. God is keenly interested that people must obey him, which looks so cheap and mean on his part, while I don't bother about the petty fame achieved by threats of force or greed of rewards. People have an internal love for me. That is the reason they behave the way I like. On the part of God, he is very selective and his kindness is only for few people. On the contrary, my blessings are for all and for everyone, while I shower it without asking for it. That is the reason that wisdom is a stolen commodity amongst them. In competition to God, I, as donkey, disclose one more secret for which absolutely God has got no knowledge. In God's mind, the words with their meanings of truth conveyed from individual to individual, simple and straight. But for the kind information of God, the words conveyed are ruled by most complicated formulae of the understanding to each other. If someone utters a phrase or sentence, it is impregnated with certain number of frequencies which cannot be decoded by the listener. So there is always confusion to understand each other. Simplicity cannot fit into the indentations of cunningness. That is the real cause of all wars. God does not know this mystery, a secret which I myself, as donkey, claim to interpret. However, there are many types of donkey. Major two are that there are donkeys, those who carry books on their backs. Others are those who carry bricks on their backs. However, the donkeys, those who carry books on their back, are always superior to their caste and race than the donkeys that carry bricks or garbage on their backs. The donkeys who carry the loads of book, they are always very well informed about the sequence of events. They always carry the index of events in their minds. Their intellectual computer remembers every event in the history with large amount of data about information. They know all about the great thinkers and philosophers, but they don't permit the argumentation of comparative studies with inquisition of criticism. Donkey is basically the biggest enemy of any free inquisition of creativity, because these two qualities are a challenge for his very existence. I proclaim as donkey that I live in the minds of the people, but if somebody disclaims my presence of mind as my resident place, then to prove my version, I hurl another argument in the arena which possibly cannot be rebutted. It is an admitted fact that the organ of man named as hand is complicated, constructed under is completely constructed under the spirit of my reflecting existence, because the hand is a tool to work which is made by my phantom as a donkey. It is the same as phantom of God impregnated Mary to give birth to Jesus. The recent modern scientific research of evolution explored that mind is being created by hand, while the hand is created by the activity of doing complicated work. Thinking process of working working and organ of working, the mind and the hand, both of them in harmony, made the man think and ponder to participate in mechanical activities, which in turn created the deep wrinkles of the brain as a thinking machine or thinking organ. The hand and brain, both of them, are the creation of labor, while the labor is my name, the donkey. Donkey has made the grand civilizations of the cultures possible by putting extreme hard work and labor in it, by carrying all the loads, by carrying all the loads of bricks as the units of construction formation through the perseverance and patience of donkey, all the things of value have been constructed throughout the ages. Donkey claims that he is a perfect saint and survives on the simple food. He never sheds blood and is the believer of peace with fair play. If me as a donkey fell into a deep pit of a well, I don't cry, just I wait with patience for the decision of luck. I am a believer of Taoism. I only cry when God tries to usurp my right of universal kingdom. I cannot tolerate one thing that anybody might think to share my authority over the universe, that is shirk. I don't like that my unique qualities should be ascribed while God is committing that sin against me. I never cry when somebody beats me. I never protest if I am hungry for many days, even my body is full of wounds and scratches. I don't protest. But if somebody wants to share authority or sex with me, then I yell and cry. Once one man secretly said to me in my ear to exchange my sex ornament with him. I gave him a horrible back kick, and his bones were broken. I am thinker of the highest degree of spirituality and meditation. I always think why God is trying to compete with me as a donkey, whereas I am seen everywhere, while the existence of God without any shade or shadow. It is highly paradoxical that I am so patient and peaceful, but I reside in the minds of those people who are snobs and dictatorial. Anybody can see my reflection in superficial and arrogant people, especially women. I live in unpredictable behaviors. I reside in the hearts of thankless people. I live in boastful pedantry, artificiality, show, and pomp. I live in the glamour of the money and in the discrimination with the superiority complexes. I live where the strength and power resides. I live in lions and elephants who are the embodiments of blindness of their strength. I live in the intoxication of wine and women. I live in greed and selfish behaviors where worldly rewards are worshipped more than the real living beauties of delicate emotions. I live in the brains of warriors, those who eat their own flesh. My glimpse can be seen in a man who is sitting on a tree branch and cutting the same on which he is sitting. My close vision can be observed in the people who make the holes in the boats on which they are floating. I nominate the spirit who is raised by someone with extremes of love and care, but yet that man stabs him with his dagger through the heart of his own beneficiary. I, as donkey, live in elderly people, all those who have got the authority over family life as well as over society. That is the reason that even thousands of years old tribal religions yet prevailed in severity, intensity. Yet the Stone Age gods are worshipped in the form of God Almighty, yet there is blindness in beliefs. Sometimes innocent children revolt against me as a donkey, but soon they are tamed by their fathers and mother to bow and prostrate in front of me. I, as donkey, always live in the minds of professors and teachers, though highly qualified in reason or logic, yet they blinded by them through their foolish beliefs and religions. I have my houses in their hearts and in their brains. I live in all the temples, churches, and mosques. They may call it as a house of God, but I know that God is nothingness and I, as sole reality, exist everywhere. Especially women are my fan. They love me both ways, wisdom as well as sex. I'm so strong that there is no way out from the waves of influence which is shed on a universal scale. The donkey's first superior quality is contrast. In contrast to man, the donkey has superior knowledge about the self, where the donkey knows very well that he is a donkey. But the man does not know about himself that he is a donkey too. For the sake of your own experience, just go to a donkey and talk with him. Say to him that in history, where were great prophets like Solomon? That there were great prophets like Solomon who controlled the winds. Say to him that my father has become chief minister. I own a grand palace. I have jewels and golds and money. I am tsunami. There is an earthquake. Hitler conquered many countries. There is tsunami. Tell him, be friend, be afraid of God. I have many beautiful girls in my company. I'm very popular leader. Grand feasts are waiting me. He will not listen to you. Even he will not look towards you. He will not blink his eyes to heed your conversation because he knows that a donkey is talking to him. He only thinks about the ultimate fate of the universe with its final destination, that is all cinders and ashes. In proof of evidence, Donkey produced many witnesses in his favor. The leader of the so called most superior nation, that is Germany, which produced Hitler, worse than a donkey, who claimed that his race was born to rule the world. Albert Einstein was another donkey who gave the formula of atomic explosion to the world that caused the disasters of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. While ultimately the human race will be destroyed by the wit, whether he was a donkey. Einstein is very much a genius in the field of sciences, but when he tried to splash in the waters of philosophy, he proved himself to be a biggest donkey. All the politicians of the world are the donkeys with inferior fiber, yet they lack the knowledge of their self-assessment. Especially American Russian politicians are highest in their degree to follow me as a donkey. Donkeys often in the state of meditation, that how it happened that the politicians of lower status than myself, all of them were placed on a highly dignified worldly status. As donkey, I inform you that my sons and daughters rule the universe as well as the world. As a donkey, I reside in the conqueror's wit. So I had 4 sons and many daughters, those who had shaken the history with terror. My first son was Pharaoh of Egypt, second, the Nero of Rome, third, the Genghis Khan of Mongolia, and fourth, the Hitler of Germany. While all the prostitutes of the world are my daughters, this word is in my clutches. And where is your God who had only one son, a miserable creature, weak and fragile, named Jesus, who was also crucified and died a miserable death, but his father God was so helpless, even he was not able to save him from the awful and miserable hands of death. Pity on your God, whose hands are tied with his back, with, with face hidden in shame. My followers are the crocodiles and the snakes that eat their own progeny. In every mirror, you can see my face as the only reality. I'm breathing in all the airs, the great donkey ruling over the entire universe with his tragic destiny. Your God says that He is seen everywhere, while the facts are altogether different. He is seen nowhere. Rather, I, as donkey, can be seen all around in the faithless airs, those who never touch you again, in the crazy winds, in the bloody storms, and in the fires of volcano, as all of them obey my commands, each of them in subversive and moving towards frightful destination, that is all awful destruction, which is the end of this universe as futility. If you don't believe me, then just go to see the mirror. You will find my face over there. Donkey claims that he is the king of sex with the largest penis in its proportion. His penis should be worshipped as the symbol of creation, which is the real quality of the creator. The real goddess, the vagina of a woman emits highly spiritual waves to attract only donkey's penis satisfies the hunger of that goddess. That is the proof that I, as the donkey with my penis, should rule as a king of the universe. The vagina of women is the climax of ecstasy, ecstasy for love with the creation of offspring, which can be done through the penis, which is only my heritage as a donkey. The vagina is the only black hole where the man loses his wit and becomes one with nature, the real love for each other. And the lesson is given by my holy book on the topic of donkey sex. Psychologist Freud is my prophet, and I, as donkey, stand as for his god. He had already explained about the extreme importance of sexual inclinations in human beings. This is the ultimate truth that love is the real basis of practical spiritualism. Scientists believe that brain is a thinking organ. Religions Religions proclaimed in their holy books that man thinks through the heart, but I, as donkey, discovered the reality that a man thinks only through his penis. The penis is the only organ which thinks and acts in a superb way. When the penis enters the field, the brain and the heart lose their existence. Under the roaring rule of penis, mind and brain are submerged into the depths of nothingness. For a man, the vagina is the goddess, and for woman, man's penis is the real god. The penis is the center of world creation, so all the creatures around must worship the penis by making a big stone statue of the penis of donkey. If the penis of Hindu Shivling god is worshipped in the Shivling temple of Hindus, then the donkey has got all the better privileges with the superiority of his penis over man as well as over all the world. Three sex organs extremely important. These are penis, vagina, and boobs, breasts of woman. Christians have architectural designing of church copying the contours of vagina because all their churches are V-shaped and triangular. Because from the vaginal triangle all the human emerge, while the Muslims designed their mosques as erected penises and big boobs, breasts of the women as minarets and domes, minars and gumbads of mosques. Muslims, while worshipping in their namaz, they don't prostrate before their God by lying flat on the floor. They just make the position of a woman, doggy posture, while ready for sexual intercourse. They take their heads down on the floor and their bum up as in the air with their legs wide apart. Human posture in namaz, prostration before God, is highly humiliating and disgraceful position. We feel as we have become dogs lying in the feet of the God, and we are imploring to God, please send your angels to commit adultery with us. But accept our prey, which is all full of greed and selfishness. The architectural designing of their places of worship all are structured as sex organs, and their posture of the body while worshipping in is sex orientated position, which depicts their true love for me as the donkey, the greatest objectification of sexual imagination. It is my claim as a donkey that I am taken to be the symbol of foolishness. Even then, I rule the universe. My existence can be experienced in imaginative delights, sensual pleasures, and sentimental feelings which are spreading all over the universe. Every person can have the sense and spiritual feelings of my presence in the form of processes working in the ultimate bodies of the universe. I, as a donkey, can be perceived everywhere. I am a spiritual phenomena acting in the laws of material bodies. Every living soul can feel my presence. My existence is in the airs and in the laws of nature. Is the sun not a donkey, which, like a donkey, works day and night without any reason and gives his light all the time to the thankless creatures who are parasitic by their nature? Is Earth not a donkey, just rotating and reeling mechanically around its axis from billions of years without any goal, destination, innate, innate meanings? Are the stars not donkeys which are shining and working in a foolish way day and night without any visible purpose? Are all men and creatures not donkey who just eat and shit and then die? Is this not a world where there is no guarantee for the good acts or for morals to survive? Is this not the life where illiterate and foolish people rule while the so called genius men with high morals and knowledge lead the life of destitution? Is the purpose of women's beauty rape and prostitution? Nobody returned after the death. What is the next to this earthly life? All foolish stories invented by donkeys. Followers of religions day and night recite the same meaningless words which they think holy. Each year, the same rituals without any brain. A lot of money and energy is spent on great buildings, which are millions in number, the places of worship. Human energy and money are sacked by those rituals and ceremonies as an offer to bribe to make their god happy, all of which are nothing more than the act of a donkey. Their sleeping gods need yelling, crying, praying, begging, prostration in order to wake him and wake him up and to make up his mind to realize that what is wrong and what is right, because he by himself is deaf, dumb, and blind. Is that not an act of donkey? God does not have an internal sense of justice. God does not have an internal sense of justice, whereas we need to ring the bells or offer prayers in order to make Him realize what is wrong or right. We need to tell to God about the problems of miserable people, which means I, as donkey, rule the world, the universe. I have ever I have even the rule over the fake existence of God by Himself. I am the real king. In proof of the existence of God, it is argued that we cannot see the winds. We can just feel them. Hunger, lust, thirst, and thought cannot be shown or demonstrated. Those are the spiritual phenomena, and so is God. We cannot see Him. But but we can only experience them. It is all false. We cannot experience God, nor we can feel Him. What can be felt? It is me as the big donkey. My acts can be felt all around, everywhere, as all the follies committed on a universal scale are factual evidence of my existence as the ruler and the king of the universe. I, as a very big donkey, who is sitting over the skies and the depths of the universe, ruling all the laws and acts of bodies floating aimlessly in this insignificant and meaningless universe. All the roses are turned into dust, all the beauties are disfigured, all the art creativity turns into ashes and cinders. All the objects of love, beauty, and wisdom are destroyed to nothingness. Words are created, and after millions of years of toil and development, all of them end into blind alley of nothingness. All the good values, morals, and ethics signified nothing in the end. That is me, with my wisdom ruling over the earth and skies. I am a big donkey, and I am the real king of the universe. I am the proof of my own self. I am self evident as only the objects of dazzling beauty, great art, extremes of love, the ecstasy of emotions, awful grandeur, and all pervading wisdoms are fully destroyed without leaving any trace or mark behind. The fate of the universe is written with the ink of blood which oozes out from very wounds of life, from every wound of life, and in the end, everything is burned with the smoke of sorrows, humiliation, pain, agony, misery, and disaster. It is only the work and an act of a donkey, a big donkey who is ruling over all skies and the universe. Thanks. दुनिया